Hungry for More versus Torpedo. That's the match that we've got for you this afternoon. My name is Thom Fdot Badinger. That's Kevin Adanas Meier.
It's the Adanas Power Hour.
Yes.
That's what we're going to call it.
It's not Tuesday, it's Friday, so.
We're a little lost. No, Hungry for More and Torpedo, though, both teams combining for a single win so far into this third week. Both expected to kind of be these middle-of-the-pack teams that were going to find some wins and maybe make a run for DreamHack once the synergy kind of meshes. But both teams have not had that happen. Sitting at the bottom of the standings right now, Hungry for More still just not a single win to their name.
Hungry for More has definitely had their struggles, a little bit more so than Torpedo. Torpedo has been that team that has turned up and yet lost despite the fact that they've played relatively well. Hungry for More, quite a different story.
Hungry for losses.
Yeah, I mean,
a wise man once said.
Honestly, just been a little bit problematic for them, whether it's been overall strategy, synergy, like we say so often during the early season.
I feel like it's synergy. I feel
synergy?
like all these players are playing their lanes. They're not playing as a unit. I want to mention Variety specifically because he played in Ao Kuang, which is very out of meta, which I'm okay with playing out of meta as long as you have a strategy devised around it. It didn't seem like he knew how to play that god specifically, and I think, Variety is this very good individual player that tries and he tries and makes these flashy plays, right? He tries to prove himself. He tries to make Visalia first bloods, and it just hasn't been connecting. And I think if he tones it down a little bit and plays his game with his team, I think we'll start to see a little bit more synergy come in from that soul lane specifically.
It's interesting. As we get into picks and bans for game number 1, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think that Variety is similar to Zalia in the sense that what's normal for them is not so normal for everybody else. And when you say it's important for Variety to play his game with his team, well, frankly, that is his game. He's always been bringing weird things into his solo lane. It's about the rest of Hunger for More, whether they're going to acclimate themselves to Variety or if he can allow his playstyle to fit in with the team a little bit better.
I just feel like he's trying to make individual plays all the time.
Sure.
Like he's trying to be this highlight star. We did see him actually take out Shaggy Shank in the back line, which was beautiful. But then in the same regard, we saw him use Water Illusion into 4 players at a Gold Fury and just instantly die because his ult was down because it got baited out because he tried to trade a Bologna in lane.
And for what it's worth, when you look at the roster of Hungry for More, CaptainTwig is definitely more of a Season 2 DJ Pernicus-style jungler, as Chronos is locked in for Torpedo, in the sense that CaptainTwig's goal in the jungle is much less fails or jungler's attempt to just eliminate somebody with Naja, and more I'm going to drop a Fear No Evil, I'm going to heal with Guan Yu. So that opens the door for Variety to be that more aggressive assassin, if you will, right? That's more of his job on Hungry for More. It's just a matter of, like you said, can they blend his playstyle with the games?
It's going to be Apollo and Naja, though, locked in for Hungry for More. So we'll have to see.
Caster's Curse.
Yeah, man. CaptainTwig is this very team fight oriented. Put him on Hun bats.
I specifically mentioned fails as Naja as well. Variety, please play Naja.
Hou-Yi going to be locked in for Torpedo. So looking a little bit like Paradigm. If they go the Cabrakan, it is actually Paradigm, but I don't expect they will. Guan Yu's open, Odin's open as well. Odin actually very good against Naja specifically and kind of combines well with Hou-Yi. This is a pick that I really think Torpedo should be looking at here.
They're going to go the Athena instead. It's fine. I definitely agree a little bit more on your side that Odin would have been the choice to go for. And Hungry for More, if they don't select the Odin, they definitely want to ban it out. And with Guan Yu selected, I expect to see it banned out.
I really hope they ban it out because otherwise it's going to get real rough if an Odin's locked in for Torpedo. I think the best pick open for them right now. Hungry for More, though?
It's actually really...
What are they going to ban?
Yeah, there's the Odin. It's a really smart choice to select Guan Yu in this spot right here because Naja, as you said, very tempting to go Odin because it hurts him a lot, but you don't have to. Once you select that Guan Yu, you have to go Odin virtually. So leave the Guan Yu for the last pick. There's no way to come back to it, and you just go ahead and ban him out immediately. Giannis, on the other side, are going to be the selection for the mid lane.
Hungry for More, going to take out Vamana, so targeting these frontline warriors as Torpedo definitely looking for that. Something to note, too, that I actually forgot to mention.
Sure.
This Hou-Yi could be going to Soul Lane.
Yes.
We have not talked about kind of Gamehunter and his return and kind of the fact that he likes to play the gods he wants. We actually did have him on an interview actually after his last victory. He's like, yeah, I kind of just play the gods I want, and we develop our team comps around that.
And he's always been a fan of bringing the hunters into the solo lane, most notably Apollo. And now, well, have you played casuals? everyone is playing a hunter in the solo lane. You buy the throwing dagger, and you go ahead and you just bang, bang, bang the whole wave down.
Ooh.
The Vulcan! PrettyPriMe is going to be playing Vulcan in the mid lane. This is a flavor pick. He is definitely viable. He's not unviable, but this is PrettyPrime's like claim to fame.
I mean, Titan had a skin that was Titan Vulcan.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm like, that's PrettyPriMe right there.
That's
PrettyPriMe.
It's his claim to fame,
Okay.
without a doubt.
So Torpedo gonna look at Serqet, recently receiving buffs in the latest 3.6 patch.
Mm-hmm.
Deathbane now on a 10-second instead of 12-second cooldown, and Madness actually getting quite significant buffs. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's going to be hurting harder. It will be a Amaterasu in the solo lane, so that Hou-Yi will be going over to my boy Mox.
I've always liked NinjaBobat's Serqet as well. NinjaBobat is a player. He has flexed himself many times in the Challenger series. So if you're unfamiliar with him, he is. I want to say as close to he's a very traditional jungler in the sense that he plays these assassins, but he has a lot of finesse in his play, Kevin, and I don't really know how to describe it beyond that. He's able to like find these madnesses in between players. He can really like thread the needle when it comes to finding his ultimates and stuff. So Serqet, a very finesse-oriented god, works very well for what NinjaBobat wants to do.
Hungry for more, though. They're going to have this tier to match up against Serqet, which can be dangerous for her if she's caught out, and that's one of the things that while Serqet, her survivability comes to her mobility, right? Her, the ability to get around the map real fast with Deathbane. You have Ambush as well. You have 2 movement abilities, and you can just kind of weave in and out of fights. But if Tier catches you, you're locked in Tier's Fearless for quite some time.
First basic of the game goes to Gamehunter.
Game over. Torpedo win.
Chases CaptainTwig on back. Now, CaptainTwig on this Naja likely will be headed to a more cooldown reduction-oriented build. He's got a lot of setup for PrettyPriMe. PrettyPriMe can knock up into Naja multiple stuns, whether it's the ult or the sash, and then unleash the ultimate,
It'll
right?
be the EU build. It'll be boots into Yoans into Winged Blade.
Yeah, that's the old adapting.
And then a lot of times you'll see another penetration, like a Titan's Bane after that. So.
I think we might even see. CaptainTwig go something like Breastplate in this situation. Definitely has to worry about Mox, Gamehunter, NinjaBobat. So if he's focusing on the utility, don't be surprised to see a whole bunch of CDR.
I don't mind Breastplate, but I think it's going to be better like in the later into the build, right?
Sure.
Finishing it off, making sure you can survive burst.
Yeah, it's all about what your role is here. And CaptainTwig, we'll see, because Naja is definitely a character similar to Hun Bat's, where your build will dictate. Your game will dictate your build. If you're having a fantastic game on either of these characters, you might even buy a 3rd item Deathbringer, right? But if you're falling a little bit far behind, then you're looking for the health out of Wingblade or even more defensive options.
That's unfortunate. CaptainTwig throws a ring toss on a minion that died the second before it hit.
Yeah.
That would have been actually a pretty good amount of poked and would have allowed them to control that lane. Left-hand side, though, Serqet. It looks like she's going to be going on to the mid-camps here. Oh, no, neither team actually going. Torpedo wanted to, but CaptainTwig enough to keep them at bay. Stun.
Korinyo on this Chronos, able to clear a little bit slower than PrettyPriMe and CaptainTwig. As that turret doing work. PrettyPriMe will be maxing his backfire, though. A little bit more traditional way to clear the wave.
You see so many different options, right?
Yep.
Nah used to always
advocate for turret.
Advocate for turret, but teams just started focusing the turret down against him. We saw a lot of teams actually go the Magma Bomb, looking for just that poke power, but PrettyPriMe going for the wave.
Yeah, exactly. And I prefer the backfire as the #1 ability. Then what you max second, whether it's turret or it's Magma Bomb, is again, yeah, it depends on how the match is going. Are you sitting more towards objectives? Are you looking for the poke, etc.? But the backfire early on just allows you to clear the wave like a traditional mage and helps keep up the pressure.
Speaking of pressure, NinjaBobat getting focused here. CaptainTwig looking for the sash anytime he can, and I like this because Hungry for More know they're going to win this 2v2 early on. Until Serqet hits level 5, they're just going to have the superior pressure and poke power, and that's just what they're abusing. They're forcing NinjaBobat to not only get very low, but also to immediately have to escape and reposition himself, spending mana. And now Hungry for More, because of that, are going to be able to get a free back piece.
That's why we say so many times, folks, it's not to annoy you. That mid-game pressure really is super important. The ripple effects of just a little bit of poke in the mid lane can be free camps that your opponent don't have access to anymore, or, you know, in the case of what we saw last game, maybe even a kill. So PrettyPriMe able to push out his lane, steal the opponent's back harps, and now he's going to share some farm with his duo lane and pick up pigs with Guan.
Gamehunter here, just trying to survive the early game. This is a matchup we will be seeing quite a lot in Season 3 unless some major changes happen, where Amaterasu is going to get bullied, but she's very good late game, so she's just going to farm.
Variety on this tier, much better look. Also, again, the last time we saw Variety play, or Hunger for More play, Variety picked two interesting gods. He went Zhang Kui and he went Ao Kuang, and on neither of them did he purchase Teleport first, both of which they were Purification. Now, much more traditional. Looking for first blood is the combo. Big bang. PrettyPriMe with the 1-2 punch. CaptainTwig off of the assist. Fantastic play coming out from Hungry for More. And
oh no, the poison actually spreads to Zindurn there. Variety though with the rotation. Oh no, Variety actually solos Gamehunter in the meantime. Okay, Variety.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Turn up.
That's before that beautiful alley-oop in the mid lane. That's what I was going towards. Variety has really shown his ability. So he comes, he fixes his god pool, he plays these traditional gods, then goes back to the drawing board and plays what he likes and what he's comfortable with. Picking the tier, going the teleport. This is standard, this is meta, whatever word you want to call it. Variety is not a poor player. He just has an interesting play style. And when he adapts and borrows the meta, he's able to perform. And here you see, as you said, the solo lane solo. 1 kill to none. Gamehunter down to Variety.
That wasn't first blood though. First blood actually going to PrettyPriMe, and something we should probably talk about is the fact that Vulcan also received a buff most recently in the 3.6 patch. His ult's actually coming out faster, and it's hitting faster, and that was just absolutely the perfect timing for PrettyPriMe. Either way, has already adapted his style, able to combine beautifully with this Naja.
Yeah, that's 100. That's what I mentioned during the picks and ban phase, is that Naja, sure, we always kind of think of him as a straight carry, and I think with that success that we saw in the mid lane, CaptainTwig will likely try to be a little bit more aggressive, but also huge setup for Vulcan. You remove somebody from the fight and you put them into a very predictable location a couple of seconds later, yeah, PrettyPrime's going to capitalize off of that.
Now actually the invade coming out from Torpedo, but they're going to be met by Zindurn, or excuse me, Zindurn. Wow. That's not Trix Tank.
Stuck in the old one?
It's Guan Yu support, man. That's just like I naturally default to launch tournament, Trix Tank, playing Guan Yu support. He's been doing it for years. He's one of the only ones who does it consistently, even when it's out of meta. That's Zindurn, though.
Zindurn making a play for his team right now as they lead this game, not just by 2 kills, but also just shot, well, 1,500 gold, I suppose.
That's pretty good.
Not a bad look for this early on.
I don't want to be that far ahead if I was hungry for more.
Sure.
Haven't found a win yet, but they found a solo kill this game. As we get later into the game, though, you know, how is their team comp really going to be holding up, right? They have the Naja, the Vulcan as well. Okay, I feel like both of these teams have pretty strong compositions going into the late game. It's really just going to be about the play style, and honestly, can PrettyPriMe live?
Yeah, can PrettyPriMe live? Variety and CaptainTwig are going to be your peelers, which, you know, Zindurn's on the Guan Yu. There's not a lot of peel there. There's a slow. The ultimate likely going to be used for initiation. Ataraxia is going to be forced to peel for himself, which Apollo is literally the escape master.
Murrdurr is going to have a lot on his plate, but it looks like we're going to have a combo again.
Taunt together. There's a good knockup coming out from PrettyPriMe. Damage still trying to come out, but CaptainTwig safely behind his mid laner for the moment. CaptainTwig gets credit for the murder kill as Ataraxia takes out NinjaBobat lurking in the jungle. Great rotation from the Hunter to help his team find themselves very far ahead.
Mox gonna okay, Mox finds a double tap onto 2 players, but Hunger for More still. Actually, I think that stops them.
Yeah,
they were definitely looking for that Gold Fury, but it's gonna be stopped. Gamehunter actually getting turned on, trying to find Variety, but it's gonna be Zindurn to finish him off.
Phenomenal play from Variety. I'm floored. That was so great. Uses the tier ultimate, the Lawbringer, to just immune the ultimate out of the Razzle Dazzle. Goes right up, down, so he's able to land exactly where he wants. Hits him with the shove into the wall, the follow-up kill. Love the play coming out from Variety.
The Razzle Dazzle two-man taunt for Murrdurr. And now Torpedo, they're surging forward. Mox, he's rotated in, and the team is looking for some kills, but hungry for more. They are going to use their purification and just kind of walk back to their tower. That was an all-in commit from Torpedo that resulted in nothing.
Not enough damage. Just not enough damage on the side of Torpedo. Unfortunate. Unfortunate for that squad. Hungry for more. Looking like a put-together team this week.
They're looking much better. Everything's been pretty well executed.
I think it's part you have to chalk up to strength of schedule. It's a much different team that they're facing off now versus the past couple of weeks. But
to be fair, though, that was the most worrying thing to me for Hunger for More is that they actually didn't lose to a top European team, right? They lost to Cringe Crew and Leftovers, right? They lost to the middle-of-the-road teams that they were supposed to be going even with, or maybe even looking ahead. They actually, and so they're sitting at the bottom for good reason, right? But they're facing off against another bottom contender in Torpedo, who have looked honestly a little bit. They've looked better than Hungry for More in the matches they've played, but they haven't been able to find the wins because of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of these middle-of-the-pack teams, when you looked at Europe before the split started, a lot of these teams you were able to go, all right, Panthera, okay, Paradigm, Fnatic will work at it, and then you look at a lot of these mid-range teams and you go, okay, they'll all be about the same. Leftovers have really exceeded expectations, and unfortunately for these two teams here today, Hungry for More and Torpedo have sort of slipped a little bit, but as we always say, as the season goes on, teams get a little bit more.
We actually see Najah come in underneath, but going to be found out.
NinjaBobat. Beautiful ultimate by CaptainTwig. Just turned right around. There's the combination. PrettyPriMe.
In the world, PrettyPriMe. Oh my God.
That's the world's best
This man, just the timing. He has practiced this god. He's got 8 diamond Vulcans.
Yeah.
He's got 8 different accounts, right? It's PrettyPriMe. Pretty neutral, pretty sad. I don't know.
Yeah, Zindurn's going to go ahead and initiate it to a whole bunch of players. Get taunted out. Here comes Variety from the side. But the Fearless will whiff. Torpedo will retreat. Hunger for More go ahead and get credit for the Gold Fury. And with that, that'll be a huge swing as far as their lead is concerned. Not even 10 on the clock. Leading by 4K and still pushing the opposition into their lanes. Variety on a tear.
He's just chasing them out. Gamehunter will be fine. He has a lot of options to get out of this, and he'll be heading back over to the solo lane. He was just trying to get some mid camps, man.
Yep.
Just let a man farm.
No, Variety says no. No farming allowed. I will salt your ground. Fearlessing the wave away.
Salt your ground?
Yeah.
Am I missing a reference here? I feel like I'm missing a reference.
It's not a specific reference. If you put salt in the ground, it ruins it to grow crops. Therefore, you cannot farm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right.
Raise a town. You know,
definitely wasn't good. It's a great reference.
You need to play more Age of Empires, my friend.
You know, I never got into Age of Empires. Everyone loves Age of Empires, though. You know who loves Age of Empires the most?
Kret.
I was gonna say old people, but it's like the same thing, right?
That's
like,
the same thing.
No, like Age of Empires was the best like bridge for kind of the older generation getting into gaming, and Kret's kind of old, right? He is bald.
He's an old man in a 20-something's body for sure. 10.5 on the clock, approaching 11. Hungry for More find their first lead of the season. That's really what's been troubling, is Hungry for More haven't even been in the lead yet this season. So now, quite a step.
I bet you they had like a 50 gold lead at one point. Like
Sure.
once they like out-farmed a lane once.
Sure.
But yeah, 4,600. That's pretty significant here in the 11-minute mark. This is kind of a lead that you can look to grow and force things, right?
Right.
Gold Fury not up right now. Obviously, they just took it. So kind of in the next couple minutes, they need to either try and remain at the same length ahead and force that Gold Fury, or try and find some picks. And it looks like they were looking to steal away the blue buff.
Yeah, they're getting real testy here. The ultimate over to the other side as Amaterasu needs some help. And now Torpedo has surrounded CaptainTwig. PrettyPriMe lurking as always. And it's enough to take out Korinyo. PrettyPriMe 7 on the board in total off of the assist from the jungler. And the push from Zindurn's going to be enough to make everyone leave.
This is just absurd.
I'm loving this combo, Kevin.
Vulcan is back, boys. Not only the buffs, but PrettyPriMe and CaptainTwig coming in for a very well-executed plan. And it's been working. On cooldown. On cooldown.
Yeah.
If CaptainTwig finds someone as ult, You know, he knows PrettyPriMe is going to finish him off every single time.
I mean, this is like tale as old as time. I mean, song as old as rhyme. Big ol' stun, big ol' mage hit, right? Thor into Kraken. It's just a little bit different this
the
time
combo
around.
used to be Thor Bacchus lane. When in 2-1-2 meta, you wall him, you jump him, you hit him with the double tap.
Yep.
You get the spin as well. You couldn't teleport to your hammer back then either. So then Bacchus just intoxicates. It was just so much burst. And like Bacchus is basically a mage, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Hades. I'm waiting for the time where we like change him into a mage.
I mean, Bacchus was the original Cabrakan. He was the original, like, I'm going to mess around and go jungle, and people are actually going to be mad when I'm 5-1.
Did you know his jump? I mean, you do know. His jump used to be way faster.
He's so fast.
Pretty sure it was wider as well.
Boing.
It's like instant. I'm pretty sure you could see Xing actually miss that jump
Yeah.
on YouTube.
One of the classics. One of the all-time classics of the Smite community is Xing missing that Bacchus jump and going nuts. Is that on his channel or Allied's?
It's on Allied's. Pretty sure it's his homepage thing. Allied FTW, if you're looking for the channel. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. NinjaBobat, though, you can see getting a little bit caught out, or at least spotted out by Zindurn. He'll jump over the wall. And Torpedo, they haven't given up. You can see that they're not really just flopping over. They're still trying to make things happen. Actually, the last engagement was forced by Torpedo in the mid lane, and here you go again. Murrdurr gonna find a two-man taunt. Just looking for the mid camps, though. They're trying to get away already.
Big heal out of Guan Yu. Already able to heal for a bunch, despite not having too much power. Building into that early Urchin. Great look for Guan, able to just stay relevant and keep himself alive.
And what I like from this Urchin is that Hungry for More are taking fights, and they're winning fights, which means you're going to see it stacked up. A lot of times, you know, you'll see a player finish Urchin, and there's like 0 kills on the board, and they're 15 minutes in. It's like there's no fighting. Both are looking for that late game.
Dive onto the right lane tower. CaptainTwig looking for the objective more so than the kill itself. And a couple of basics should help Variety topple it. Tier 1 goes down in the short lane, and the fight, Hunters, is on. Moex avoids an early death thanks to Murrdurr showing up.
Moexed.
Yeah.
Ataraxia was having none of it. It's going to be the combo once again. No, actually a beautiful purification from NinjaBobat, but he still has to back away. Blue buff working on being stolen.
Now see that situation, the purification right before the Nanja ult. You have to. Now I'm very curious to see how CaptainTwig adapts. Does he wait it out next time, or does he get beads again? That's the real question. Can CaptainTwig adapt to it? I'm sure he can. He's had a fantastic game so far.
Zindurn taunted on her tower. Actually doesn't care. Jumps on his horse, but he is running away. NinjaBobat's here, blinks forward, gonna find the madness, but this is actually a lot into this Guan Yu, and Torpedo need to be careful because the rotations are coming.
Yeah, oh, I actually thought that would have been a great commit. Zindurn gonna go ahead and get forced back. Ataraxia picks up Murrdurr before the ultimate is good enough. So Torpedo get turned around.
It's gonna be Gold Fury though, at the very least attempted. Gamehunter, the only one full health and has his ultimate. Moex is hanging around here as well, but it's going to be very hard for anyone to get into this. You can see Zindurn just zoning out Gamehunter, and Hungry for More, though. They're going to secure this.
Vulcan ultimate, of course, always a secret option. Huge ability when it comes to securing the Gold Fury, or any objective for that matter. Gamehunter is going to walk in the lane, right into Variety, but Variety's kind of low himself, so they just wave at each other as they both retreat.
Hey, man, what are you doing? I'm going to heal up off these creeps. All right, I'm going to go to tower.
Hey, man, I'm running away from your team.
Could you tell your team not to kill me, please?
Yeah, you tell them the same, okay?
Yeah, all right, we good. This solo laner pact, right? It's like you sit there, you slap fight, and then you just...
See ya.
You just whisper each other. You're like, hey, man, what's going on? You know, just farming away.
It's funny
I'll
how
rotate at about 15 minutes. I think my team's going to start Gold Fury after getting a pick.
Yeah,
all right, I'll follow you. I'll follow. I'll teleport as well.
I think solo laners have a league, like a league of extraordinary gentlemen. They have like a secret club. I mean, you always see them hanging out together when it comes time to land. You always see Omega hanging out with Dimmy or Divios. You always see the solo laners. They have this secret cabal where like your ego must be this tall to ride, and there you go. You're in the door.
Omega was on stream a couple days ago, but looks like a fight actually going to break out.
CaptainTwig takes a bunch of pokes. Sanctuary a little too early, and that dot tick is going to hit him eventually.
Bye-bye, Murrdurr. Yeah, Murrdurr's going to die here. CaptainTwig will finish it off with his ultimate. And quickly killed Zindurn and going to heal him up.
Still alive.
Rotation from Gamehunter, though. He's actually looking for CaptainTwig in the jungle, but it's going to be red.
Pop. Gamehunter narrowly avoids it.
Now
There's a sash. Gamehunter
done.
surrounded. Gamehunter's going to jump up and down.
Maybe.
Stun out. Look for a kill.
Oh, actually a 3-man stun coming up from Korinyo as well. Moex, he's going to run away, but there's the Vulcan ult, and they're both on top of it, barely get out. Sanctuary was used by Moex.
But,
Variety.
yeah, the zoning has been completed. PrettyPriMe and his team able to start looking to dive a tier 2 tower. Very aggressive here on the red team, feeling themselves just a little bit. Guan leading the charge.
Needs to be careful. He's going to get stunned under this tower, and actually a taunt goes forward onto Variety instead, but the healing from Guan Yu, it's so good. Can we actually take a look at player healing? I want to see where Guan Yu sits. 5,000, so actually not that high, but still.
Still a decent amount.
Still.
I mean, at this point in the game, players have, what, 1,500 HP?
Roughly.
So
depending on who you are, yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at 3 lives saved, 4 lives saved in total. That's, you know, that's not always how it's done in practice, right? You're not sitting there healing somebody up from 0 to full health, but in theory.
I am. Yo, someone's backing. I'm like, don't back.
Don't back. I got you. Heal. Now wait 8 seconds.
8
Heal.
seconds,
Now
man.
wait
I got cooldown, man. It ain't 8 seconds.
Taunt somebody so I can dash and then go back and heal again.
Pop that meditation before everyone backs. All right, guys, we just wiped them. We got a fire giant. Let me pop this meditation. Pad my stats. Hungry for more, though. Been padding their stats. 10,000 gold now after that last Cold Fury. Murrdurr dashes forward. We've seen this story before, though. Every time he does that, he actually dies.
Yeah, it hasn't been too successful. Only 2 kills have Torpedo found thus far, one of which on Gamehunter off of a rotation of mid lane. And then NinjaBobat did wind up with a pick a little bit earlier on. And that's all that Torpedo have been able to get going. Hungry for more with 10 kills.
Zindurn. He's going to be found out. So, if this game ended right now, I feel like PrettyPrime's taken like no damage. That's one thing that I've really noticed, that PrettyPriMe has had 0 pressure on him. He's been able to freely sit in the back line, and it's to be fair, it's hard, right? NinjaBobat hasn't really been looking to dive him. He's been focusing on kind of these frontline players instead.
Eliminated. Murrdurr has no idea that he's even alive before he's dead. There's the Vulcan ultimate, very close range, not going to find Korinyo. Here's the rotation out of long lane, and again, big burst out of Vulcan. And the follow-up from the horse, Zindurn, takes credit for Moex.
Gamehunter's here in the back line, but I don't think he's going to be able to kill anyone, and you can already see he's forced back into the tower, has Hunger for More siege forward. They're looking for the tower. It's going to be some heals, and here's Variety looking for Korinyo in the back. He's going to skirt forward, and one more swing. Variety finds him.
2-0 and 2 for the short laner, Variety. Tier 2 tower being aggressed on just shy of 20 minutes. That's an extra 1,500 gold for Hungry for More. They're above 10,000 gold of a lead, and they're looking at the Phoenix this early on. They're looking at everybody on the team as well. Firebird down about 25%. Hungry for More can't finish it off, but they're certainly nowhere near needing to retreat.
Meditation is pop. There's still 2 dead on the side of Torpedo, and that is going to be essentially a free Phoenix, as Hungry for More just continuously pressure out Torpedo. They get a win, and then they get a tower. Then they get the tower, then they get another kill. Then they get another kill, and they get another kill, and they get another kill, and they get the Phoenix. And that was kind of how everything went. They just kept going forward. Conviction was used on cooldown. Yeah. Meditation there at the end because people were running low on mana.
I mean, that's truly the stuff after 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 the stuff. They just didn't really stop. That's the beauty of Guan Yu.
It's the train, man. It's the Guan Yu train.
That's the.
They don't stop.
It's
for no one except when he dies.
It's the Uzi of healing, man.
Gold Fury as well. Hungry for more. Let's go to the graphs. 16,000 gold in the lead. Just look at that slope.
How much is too much? I make it a point, you got to fight down 5K. You got to fight down 7K. 8K, 9K, you better start being a little defensive. 10K, go home and wait and farm up. Yeah, what do you do at 16K?
You can definitely, I mean, hold out. This isn't like Paradigm where it was like 13 kills at like 10 minutes.
Right.
Right, where it's just like you're just constantly dying, right? This is just a very well played game by Hungry for More, finding victory after victory and then making sure to extend those. But Torpedo, it's going to be real hard for them. They essentially need to just hope Hungry for More overextend.
Right.
And honestly, NinjaBobat has to come up with the big play. If he doesn't, it's over.
Yeah, he's been relatively quiet. Only 2 deaths, so it's not like he's feeding, but he's been a part of, you know, he has 1 kill.
He needs to roll some dice on this. He needs to roll some dice with this Malice.
Go for the risky plays.
He's got to. I mean, he's got to dive a back line. He's got to kill someone. He's got to kill Vulcan.
Yeah.
And if it's not Vulcan, it's got to be Apollo, because trying to focus CaptainTwig, he's probably just going to get turned on, because we've seen him do that already.
Yeah,
where he like focuses
literally
CaptainTwig and then just gets turned on.
Yeah, literally was the case for him. CaptainTwig did the 180 and got him with the ultimate. Hungry for More now looking at the right side of the map. A lot of aggression on a Gamehunter, but no damage until PrettyPriMe shows his face.
Oh, Bobat.
Meanwhile, in the jungle, you want Bobat to do something. It's not going to happen for at least 45 seconds. Shut down by Variety.
They caught Gamehunter's dash as well. Dazzling offense is used. There's the Vulcan Gamehunter getting chased down by Zindurn. PrettyPriMe takes out Murrdurr in the meantime. And the team, they're just going to take out this tier 2 tower.
So much damage coming out of PrettyPriMe already. Sitting at the top of the charts, 15,000. And every piece of that damage has been relevant. 1,500 gold one more time as Hungry for More take away Torpedo's final stretch.
Variety just finished Gauntlet of Thieves. He's going to be healing for 20% more on those power cleaves. This is an item that very rarely you can use, but when you're this far ahead, you can, and it just seems to make you get even further ahead.
Right side, Phoenix going to fall down. Mid Phoenix still down from the last time Hungry for More showed up on the front door of Torpedo. And this game is starting to look more and more like an HFM.
Hungry for More, they're going to back off, though. They get the Phoenix. I'm a little bit surprised to not see them siege up the left-hand side. I guess they're looking more for the Fire Giant. We're only 24 minutes in, though. We're just under that mark. Most of the players are level 20 on Hungry for More, so Torpedo going to slowly start closing that gap the later this game goes.
This is nearing the largest lead we've had in this season. I don't think we've seen a team...
I think 18,000 was the most gold I saw.
Yeah, we haven't seen, as far as gold is concerned, we have yet to see a 20,000 gold lead. But Hungry for More definitely making a point to go ahead and at least reach that number. Yeah.
We're 24 minutes into, and this is
That's
like... Sometimes you'll see it at like 30, 35
right.
minutes.
Right.
24. Brutal.
Yeah.
Fire Giant eliminated. Just... falls to the ground. We didn't even have time to have the camera rove over there. It was just done.
PrettyPriMe picks up a red buff. I'm not sure if they did the Fire Giant, honestly. Nope, no Fire Giant on
crazy.
them. They showed up, and you know, with the lead the way it is, Kevin, I can understand. I would expect it to fall that fast.
I could have swore the Fire Giant went down.
Nah, it's just the Fire minions coming down the mid lane. We'll take a look at Ataraxia and PrettyPriMe. They're going to start it, though. So maybe you predicted the future, and wow.
I predicted the future.
Halfway down with 2-3 players.
They could have killed it that fast.
Yeah, they could have.
I saw like 4 members over there. I don't know, man. Anyways, Zindurn and Variety going to combine to kind of zone out all 5 players to Torpedo in that mid lane. And now that middle Phoenix is being worked on once again.
Jungle stripped away. Hungry for More coming down mid lane. Phoenix is about half HP, half power. It has been killed once before. 25 minutes on the clock. Hungry for More lead by a bazillion gold. Yes, that is the technical term. They're going to blink forward. They're going to look for the opponent. Variety whiffs, but the rest of the team doesn't. Phoenix is down. Zindurn trying to make the play onto Gamehunter, who gets a little aggressive, and PrettyPriMe puts him in the ground.
1 dead so far on the side of Torpedo. More to soon follow. It's going to be a double kill coming up from PrettyPriMe. Only 1 Phoenix left remaining. Variety to the back. He's going to find Bobat. And into the Phoenix he goes.
Vulcan ultimate in the fountain. Not going to find a kill. Order Titan down to about half HP. Hungry for More surrounded. No one's here to play defense. Hungry for More lossless no longer. They find their first win of the season over Torpedo.
That was a team we haven't seen yet.
That is the first time I've seen that team play.
I knew of a team called Hungry for Losses in the first 2 weeks. This one, all right, I'm overusing it now. It was your joke to begin with. But no, really well played. Variety finding a solo kill very early on. Yeah. And this lead was solely based on the beautiful execution between CaptainTwig and PrettyPriMe. Just so well played. We
take a look at First Blood right here. Again, you mentioned CaptainTwig and PrettyPriMe. This was the beginning. Just a good old-fashioned alley-oop.
6-0 and 7. Honestly, if you looked at player damage taken,
done and done.
PrettyPriMe probably sitting on the bottom. It's just
done and done. No stun.
Still done.
Still done. PrettyPriMe, number 1. 6-0-7 KDA as Vulcan mid. That's the last shot we're going to take a look at with the backfire kill coming out from PrettyPriMe. As we said, not only did he combine with CaptainTwig a lot for those one-on-one assist plays, but able to just from a distance find the knockups into the backfires. Very impressive performance from PrettyPriMe.
I'm pretty sure PrettyPriMe topped the damage charts there at the end.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised if he didn't. Zindurn as well played very well. A lot of what we saw from him obviously was just kind of zoning, but being kind of this frontline menace. And a lot of times when he felt like his team was comfortable, was actually diving, chasing down these kills on players that looked like they should have got out.
Yeah, Zindurn still always aggressive on the Guan Yu. Here it is. That's pretty much exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm safe and sound. I dropped it. Nope. There's a horse. There's a Zindurn. He's going to take me out. And that's pretty much what we saw. Big shouts to Variety, who pulled it out. One of the more meta picks to allow his mid laner and jungler to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Sometimes we see, as you said, Variety wanted to do the heavy lifting himself, but opts for the tier, a little bit more traditional and a little bit more effective. We'll see if